very honest here. Mercy is not a movie that I think I paid any attention to the development of before, basically right before I saw it, other than being kind of aware that it was coming out because I'd seen a trailer. Because why would anyone pay attention to the development of an Amazon Studios movie coming out in January starring Chris Pratt? The main thing that stuck out to me was a persistent thought of, why does this look like a cheap knockoff of Minority Report? Because that's obviously what it looks like, but specifically, why does this look like the cheap Russian bootleg version of Minority Report? And then, come to watch the opening credits and realize, oh, hi, Timur Bekmambetov. That would be why. I don't know if Timur is like the best Russian filmmaker in the world right now. He's probably the most Russian director that Americans are familiar with. I actually like a lot of Timur Bekmambetov movies. He's better known now as a producer, really more so than a director. He's produced a lot of very good movies. He's directed a lot of movies of varying quality. He kind of had like a mid-career transition as producer to being less well known for his action films than for his contributions as producer of the screenlife genre. That's the movies that mostly take place through people clicking through computer screens. And he has the distinction of having produced probably the best screenlife movie, which was Searching, the movie where Jean Cho has to use Google to solve his daughter's kidnapping, and probably the worst screenlife movie, the Amazon Studios War of the Worlds movie. And on top of whatever else it might be, Mercy actually represents an attempt to combine screenlife with a conventional blockbuster. And what they've come up with for making a screenlife blockbuster is, what if Minority Report, but the parts where Tom Cruise uses the swipey screens to solve murders are the whole movie, because it's on a timer counting down, and if he doesn't solve it, he gets killed because the crime the cop is trying to solve is one he's accused of. And if you're thinking, wow, a movie would have to be really stupidly contrived to work out a scenario where that would be the specific premise of the movie, yeah, this is basically stupid Minority Report. That's it. Do you want to see stupid Minority Report? This is it. Chris Pratt plays an LAPD cop in the near future. He has been accused of wife murder, and he's been put on trial in an AI court that he helped create after crime went crazy out of control in a montage. So now they have an AI computer court where they sit you down in an execution chair and they let you access the city cloud to prove your innocence or guilt within a certain percentage within 90 minutes using swipey Minority Report style screens and an AI Siri judge lady who shows up on the screen and walks you through it, and if you can't prove it within 90 minutes by swiping through and using all of the cloud views of show me the camera, show me the security, enhance, you get killed. And that's the premise of the movie. Basically, instead of pre-crime, it's what if the cloud actually worked. It's as stupid as it sounds. The rules of the court feel arbitrary and make no sense. It mostly boils down to Chris Pratt literally arguing with the story of the movie, asking the plot to happen, and if not, why. The laws of it seem to completely change. Sometimes the AI judge can call people, sometimes she can't. Sometimes she can open the files he's asking for, sometimes she can't. It really doesn't make that much sense how this is supposed to work for anyone who is tried in this way, who is not themselves an LAPD detective, who can just call up his police friends to open files for him and go to crime scenes and walk through. Like, really, it doesn't feel like this would work for anyone who is not themselves a cop, which you would feel like would be the point of the movie, but Timur Bekmambetov is a big tech guy who loves computers and screens and AI, so it doesn't want the point of it to actually be that AI is bad and you should never use this. And of course, the mystery itself is exceptionally stupid in the way that mysteries always are in movies like this. Hey, which of these characters or details are shown to me early on with specific names or identities with no other real important role in the story? Because that's probably the real killer or connected to why the killer killed. And say what you will about Minority Report being a somewhat dated movie that also had an exceptionally convoluted plot, it was at least smart about the way that it thought that its very silly pre-crime concept would work. This is probably the stupidest depiction of movie AI in a long time. It can't make up its mind if the robot AI judge is supposed to be robotic or sarcastic. She starts out doing the smug, flat affect Siri thing, but they also want to imply that she is evolving and learning as she goes. And also, Chris Pratt can trick her by doing the introduce a logical paradox and make the system glitch thing. And wait, so you're telling me no one who has ever been put on trial in the Mercy program has ever once asked it an emotional question and caused it to question itself? Like, you can literally beat this thing the way Captain Kirk used to beat robots in the original Star Trek, and no one has done this before? Which, of course, has the effect of breaking what is supposed to be the gimmick of the movie. A lot of this movie is supposed to be based on a close-up of the main character talking directly towards the camera, which is then supposed to cut back to this cold, unfeeling robot not reacting in the way that the audience is reacting, and therefore we're supposed to dislike her. But that doesn't work because they've already given her an alternating personality, which breaks the immersion that we're supposed to be feeling. So this is not very well thought out, and constantly shifting tones and not feeling well thought out has always been a persistent problem of every Timur Bekmambetov movie that does not take place entirely on a screen. People who remember trying to get through the non-action or fight scene parts of the Night Watch movies can attest to what that's like. So suffice it to say, unsurprisingly to everyone, Stupid Minority Report is in fact a bad movie, but it's actually kind of fun in its badness. It moves along at a good clip, introducing the fact early on that there is a 90-minute locked-in time limit on the Chris Pratt character's Mercy trial. Means that there's more or less an under 2-hour time limit on the movie, which means that this is not overlong, doesn't overstay its welcome, so, and therefore kind of delivers in the way that a dumb movie like this should. Like, it's not smart, but it's engaging enough, and it escalates the level of stupid and the level of obvious that it is, that I don't know that I was having the fun that I was supposed to be having, laughing at the absurd plot twists and contrivances, but I'd be lying if I said I wasn't having fun. The main problem that I had with it is, like a lot of these, is that it's eventually too slick and a little too expensive to laugh along in the way that I'd normally laugh along at something like this. I mean, stupid version of a smart movie is a long tradition in B sci-fi. There are a lot of movies that I like from the golden age of renting bad movies from video stores that fall into the tradition of, oh good, this is another stupid version of Blade Runner, this is another stupid version of Aliens, stupid Star Wars. And I mean, this looks like it probably cost around like, $80, $100 million. I think if this was something that cost like, $40 million and starred like Frank Grillo or David Boreanaz or someone from like a CW show that isn't on anymore, instead of starring Chris Pratt, who's probably a pretty expensive actor right now, I would probably be more forgiving of it. Like, if this was one of the direct-to-Prime movies instead of something that Amazon was actually expecting people to pay for in theaters, I think it would be like a little bit more forgivable feeling. But as it is, it's sort of harmlessly silly. The twists are dumb, the script is moronic. Chris Pratt, away from the wise guiding hands of James Gunn and Kevin Feige, is exactly not the actor you want in a role where he is only sitting in a chair and staring into the audience to emote and try and carry a plot entirely on emotion and expression, but he's decent here. The script doesn't really give him much to do with it, but he's fine. I had enough fun laughing at the stupidness and absurdity of it to like bump it up to a 6 in my head, but on its own, it's about a 5, yeah.